Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Asyhad Fahmi Abdillah, NIM G141700078. On this occasion, I will present plan for my research which titled Modeling Return on Assets ROA at Islamic Bank using Panel Data Regression, supervised by Professor Dr. Asep Saifuddin MSc and Dr. Anwar Fitrianto MSc. Here is the outline for this occasion. The first is background. The second is research objective. And there's a literature review, and then methodology, and the last is references. Background. Banking is the main pillar of the economy. If the banks in a country are in good condition in their management, it will help the economy remain stable. Indonesia is a country with the largest Muslim population in the world. Therefore, the application of Islamic legal law in the economic field is reasonable to apply. So, Islamic Bank must continue to grow. OJK, as a supervisor in Indonesia, receives financial report from the banks. There are many indicators to measure how well the bank is performing, such as return on assets, ROA, capital adequacy ratio, CAR, financing to deposit ratio, FDR, etc. Return on assets, ROA, is the main indicator to see the bank's performance based on the value that shows the bank's ability to generate profits, according to Wahyuni and Pujiharto in 2017. Based on the data reported from the annual report of Islamic Bank on 2019, 8 of 13 banks have an ROA value of less than 1.5%. 1.5% is a minimum limit set by the OJK. If the value is more than that, bank is in a good performance. According to the fact before, the bank needs to know what factors that affect ROA as the main indicators for its performance. ROA perhaps influenced by other indicators as mentioned before, so that the bank could manage cash flow that occurs. Relating to the government, OJK as supervisor of the banks also needs to know the factors that affect ROA as assessment and evaluation for the banks it supervises. By knowing the factors that affect ROA, OJK can also make a policy that can regulate this ROA and other indicators. So, ROA modeling using other indicators is needed. Lemiana and Litriani in 2016 conducted research to analyze the effect of non-performing finance, NPF, financing to deposit ratio, FDR, and operational costs on operational revenues, POPO, to ROA. Almost the same, Yundi and Sudarsono in 2018 used capital adequacy ratio, CAR, financing to deposit ratio, FDR, non-performing finance, NPF, operational costs on operational revenues, POPO, and third-party fund, DPK, in modeling of ROA. So, based on these two studies, these variables will be used in this research. This research has the following objectives. The first is to analyze the effect of CAR, FDR, NPF, BOPO, and DPK on ROA value in Islamic Bank for the period of 2015 to 2019. And the second is to modeling on ROA in Islamic Bank for the period of 2015 to 2019 using panel data regression between common effect model, fixed effect model, and random effect model. Literature review. Return on assets, or ROA, in Islamic banks is a ratio that describes the ability of the bank to gain overall profit by looking at the activities or assets it owns. The minimum limit set by the OJK for ROA is 1.5%. If a bank has an ROA value of more than that, it is said that the bank has a good performance in making a profit, according to Arsitektur Perbankan Indonesia in 2004. The formula of ROA is net income divided by total assets. Panel data and common effect model. Panel data is one that follows a given sample of individuals over time. Panel data analysis by default use common effect model as the model. Common effect model is the same as a simple linear regression model using the linear squares method by combining cross data time and time series into one complete data unit, according to Gujarati in 2004. Here is the formula of common effect model. Fixed effect model. Fixed effect model assumes that there's no specific effect time and only focus on individual specific influences, according to Xiao in 2014. Here is the formula of fixed effect model. Random effect model. The model assumes that there's no correlation between individual specific influences and time-specific influences with explanatory variables, according to Gujarati in 2004. The formula of random effect model is as follows. Chow test. This test is carried out to see whether there's a specific effect on the individual and time-specific effects in data panel model, according to Baltagi in 2008. The hypothesis is as follows. Hausman test. Hausman test used to decide whether random effect model and fixed effect model to be chosen. The hypothesis is as follows. Normality test. Normality test used to ensure the residuals of the data at the research distributed normally. The hypothesis and the formula of Jarkubera is as follows. Where n is sample size, s is skewness coefficients, and k is kurtosis coefficients, and a formally distributed variable s is 0 and k is 3. So the expected of the GB statistics is to be 0, according to Gujarati in 2004. Heterostatisticity test. Heterostatisticity poses potentially several problems based on least squares. This heterostatisticity test uses Lagrange multiplier test, so the test statistic for LM test is as follows. If the LM value is more than the DF value, the hypothesis of homoscedasticity is rejected, according to Green in 2003. Autocorrelation is a violation of the oleh assumption, according to Sarwoko in 2002. Autocorrelation can be detected by the Durbin-Watson test. The hypothesis of the Durbin-Watson test is as follows, with the following test statistic is as follows. Methodology. Data. Data sourced from annual report every Islamic bank published on the website for the period of 2015 to 2019. There are 13 banks to be observed, and here is the variable used in this research. Data analysis procedure. First thing to do is getting the data from the website. After getting the data, the next step is doing exploration to get the general description and identify the pattern of the data by seeing the plot and summary. The next step is modeling with CEM, REM, and FEM. And then the selection is made using the Chow test and Hausman test. In the Chow test, if the result is accept hypothesis nil, then CEM to be chosen. But if the result is reject hypothesis nil, it should be decided by Hausman test. In the Hausman test, if the result is accept hypothesis nil, so REM is to be chosen. But if the result is reject H nil, so FEM to be chosen. The next step is perform the assumption test. If the result shows that all of the assumptions are clear between fixed effect model, combined effect model, and random effect model can be used. If not, perform the other method that is seemingly unrelated regression. After getting the model, the next step is evaluate the estimation of parameter model. And then the last step is interpretation, which is identify the effect of CAR, NPF, FDR, BOPO, and DPK to ROA. And here is the references. And thank you very much.